Once upon a time, I went driving on a country road at night, and there were no street lights, lampposts, nothing like that. And I did not know how to use high beams. If I'm being honest, I didn't know they existed, which is sad and a little embarrassing. And I had a long line of cars behind me that were very annoyed with how slowly I was going and were right in my bumper, and they couldn't pass me because of the road we were on. It was very stressful. So when my friends later told me, you should have used your brights, and I didn't know what that was, I felt so embarrassed. And I tell you this because today we're going to go over 7 things you're doing wrong in Lightroom. And I know sometimes it can be hard to hear about the thing that you've been doing wrong, but it makes us better people to learn these things. And join me on this path and know that you're not alone if you are making these mistakes, because as the great Hannah Montana once said, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. All right, number 1 is altering your colors so much that they are different colors. This might be obvious to some of you, but there are photos out there that actually show that people do this, unfortunately. There is something to be said for creative freedom. Sometimes maybe your artistic expression is making a yellow a bright green instead of the yellow that it truly is. That's fine. But if you're being hired for anything professional, anything that's not meant to be an artistic project, something like a wedding or family portraits, people have spent time deciding and thinking about what colors they want something to be. Maybe the bridesmaid dresses being red is something that really matters to the bride. Maybe that's one of their wedding colors and it means a lot to them. And so if you're making these red dresses appear more purple, that's going to most likely be upsetting to the client and ultimately be compromising the integrity of your work. In order to stay at a professional level, make sure you're not messing with the hue sliders so much of colors that they are no longer the original color that they were. Number 2, not utilizing keyboard shortcuts. Now, there are so many keyboard shortcuts that I'm not even gonna try to dive into all those. The point I wanna make though is take the time to learn some of these, especially for certain actions that maybe you're doing a lot. Say you're rotating your images a bunch. Oh, I meant for this to be, this other orientation, so I need to rotate it to the left. Learn the shortcut for that versus going up into the menu or whatever and scrolling down and just tap, tap, tap on your keyboard. That's gonna save you so much time. It feels minimal in the moment for each time you do it. It's like, okay, it was like an extra 3-4 seconds, but that stuff adds up. And when you have hundreds of images to edit, it's really, really helpful to know keyboard shortcuts. And that has saved me a lot of time and effort. But if you challenge yourself to learn the shortcut, I think it'll ultimately save you more time and effort and energy in the long run. Learn your keyboard shortcuts. Learn to toggle between before and after by a click of a button versus having to move your cursor and go do something there. Use the buttons on your keyboard and save yourself a bunch of time. Number 3, not having accurate white balance. It can be easy to get caught up in just trying to go fast and get through things. And so then later you might look back and realize like, oh, that photo is actually a little bit too warm. It looks kind of weird. Nothing's worse than looking back and realizing that you have messed up white balance. I'm a big fan of people taking a little extra time to ensure that their white balance is accurate. There is such a thing as over analyzing or spending too much time on some photos. I think you can overdo it for sure, and then you're just messing with your head at that point. But I think something that is very important to spend the extra time to make sure you're doing it right is the white balance. And there are many different ways that you can check that your white balance is accurate. One thing I really like to do is if there is something white in the image that I know is truly white, it's not like tinted one way or the other or anything, I will change the background of my Lightroom catalog to pure white instead of gray or black or whatever it currently is, because then I can compare the white of Lightroom to the whites in the image, and that will help me with realizing if it's too cool or too warm or too magenta, too green. That has been really helpful for me to help make sure my white balance is accurate. You can also have comparison photos, like if you've got a secondary monitor or something, or if you just have some images pulled up, it's so helpful to be able to look at that and be like, okay, I know the white balance on this photo here is accurate. So I'm going to look at that for a second and I'm going to look at my photo. Oh, my photo is way warmer than that one. Okay, I need to adjust that. It can be really helpful to have something to refer to compare your image with, something that you know the white balance is accurate on. You can also use the auto white balance. It's not always accurate, but sometimes it really nails it. It's a shame to not at least try it. You can also use the dropper tool to select what is true white in your image, and then it should make the white balance accurate. Making sure you have an accurate white balance is really important in order to put out photos that are professional level photos. Number 4 is not using star ratings or flags. One of the best things you can do to keep your catalogs organized and keep things grouped together is by utilizing those stars and the flags. If I started my day, a wedding day, capturing reception details, let's say, and then, oh, hey, the bride's getting her dress on, you need to come capture that. So then I step away and I'm doing that, and then I come back half hour later and finish the reception details. When I pull those images into Lightroom, those two things are going to be broken into different parts of the day, even though they are of the same details and everything. And I want the edit on those photos to be similar. I want them to all be exposure to the same white balance. I want to make sure they're uniform. And then I can go up and filter my photos, and then I can go through and edit those all together in one batch. If you're not using stars and flags, get on the bandwagon. You gotta try it out. It's gonna help you out so much. Number 5, this is one that I am a big proponent of, and that is not coming back with fresh eyes, not stepping away and then coming back with a fresh perspective. I can't tell you how many times I have edited some photos and been like, these are great, I'm exporting them and putting them on Instagram now. And I do that, and then the next day I come back to it and I look at them and I'm like, oh my goodness, they are so green tinted. What in the world? How did I not see that? I have saved my own bacon so many times by taking a break and then coming back with fresh eyes, whether that's an hour or it's the next day or whatever. Just coming back after a break will help you realize maybe where some mistakes have been made or where some adjustments need to be made to make the photo better. There's nothing worse than posting a photo and later being like, oh no, what did I do? Why is it orange? I didn't realize it was orange. If you'd just taken some time to step away and come back, you could save yourself a lot of trouble there. Number 6, this is one that you either have definitely heard someone talk about or maybe you never have, and that is straightening your horizons. If your horizon is slightly crooked in an image, that's going to tell people immediately that you're not paying attention to detail and you're not taking extra care with your photos. It's a lack of professionalism, in my opinion. To me, it either means somebody doesn't care enough about the image, they don't think it matters to straighten the horizon, or they're unaware that that's even a thing. Maybe they don't even realize the horizon is crooked. So this is a really important thing to become aware of and to take care of, to pay close attention to those details. Show your professionalism by straightening those horizons. Don't forget to do that. Number 7 is not utilizing the removal tool. To me, an image can be leveled up so much just by decluttering it. Using that removal tool can be your best friend when it comes to water bottles or a pair of socks that are on the floor or something. You can't necessarily spend hours removing that one stain from that tablecloth that's in every single photo. But if you're talking like the couple portraits and it's the, golden hour moment and you've got a random person that's just like in the background there, you can make your image so much better by just removing that person. Remove tool is your best friend when it comes to cleaning up your photos and making them look more professional. So to recap, number 1, altering the colors so much that they no longer are their original color. Number 2, not utilizing keyboard shortcuts. Silly. Use the shortcuts. Number 3, not having accurate white balance. Number 4, not using stars or flags to organize your photos. Number 5, not stepping away from your screen for a set amount of time to come back with fresh eyes. Number 6, not straightening your horizon. And number 7, not utilizing the removal tool to declutter your image. Those are the 7 things that I think you might be doing wrong in Lightroom. Let me know if any of these resonated with you, if you were like, whoa, I've been doing that and I didn't even think about it. I'd love to hear from you guys if this was helpful. If there's anything that you think should have been added to this list that I really missed, love to hear that from you guys. Let us know what content you'd love to see in the future, what topics you want covered, questions you might have. And as always, we'd love you to subscribe and check out our other videos for more helpful tips and tricks about photography and Lightroom and all things cameras. All right, talk to you guys soon.